Greetings and welcome to another reading from Black Metal Dale, a journey into the Dark Underbelly of Parenthood. Before I begin, let me say Happy Mother's Day to all you long-suffering incubators out there. I hope your spawn show you the devotion that you rightfully deserve. In celebration of this day, I will regale you with a tale of my youngest child's expulsion from the womb. Let us begin. Boris's V.E.D, finally an end. Fast forward 4 and a bit years, and Karen was gripped by the urge that many women are cursed with. She wanted to add another child to our brood. Having already sired 2 offspring, I was hesitant to bring another one into the world. I was in my mid-30s at this stage, and by my calculations, I'll be child-free in another 15 years, whether mugwump liked it or not. If we had another kid now, I'd be pushing 60 by the time I got my life back. That was far from satisfactory. However, Karen, like all the fairer sex, can be very persuasive when she wants to be. She's also devious as a succubus, and waited until I was at my most vulnerable before going in for the kill. The opportunity presented itself one night while we were enjoying a few bourbons. Mugwump was asleep in her cave, and we were sitting outside listening to some sweet metal tunes. The music was thumping and my head was buzzing nicely. Karen refilled our glasses, put them on the table, and then sat in my lap, draping one arm around my neck. Alarm bells should have started ringing then, but Karen is one hot woman and I'm the sucker for her attentions. "So, my lord," she purred, "does Mr. Chuckles want to come out to play?" An hour later we were lying in bed, sharing a cigarette and enjoying the afterglow of another job well done. That's when she struck, like a great white shark smashing into a surfer. "Hey babe, I need to talk to you about something," Karen said, seemingly out of the blue. Again, I should have seen what was coming, but like the fuck-drunk idiot that I was, I blundered into a trap, like a fat kid into a lolly shop. "And what would that be, my love?" I responded, a rare smile crossing my lips. It's amazing how much good sex can alleviate the symptoms of the Eastern European smile. Unfortunately, it also makes you vulnerable to the wiles of unscrupulous women. "Look, my lord, I really want another kid," she said as she ashed the ciggy and handed it to me. I took a drag and exhale, realisation slowly dawning on me. I had another drag on the smoke before handing it back to my conniving wife. There was no way I was going to get played. "Yeah, I know, Dale, but if we had another baby now, then it'll be 20 years before they're all fucking gone. I'll be an old cunt by then." I was sticking to my guns. "No, you won't." The standard response. "Yes, I will. Look, I want to enjoy at least some of my life before I die. If I have a kid now, that's not going to happen." "Sorry, babe." This banter went back and forth a little while before Karen stubbed out the cigarette and argued. "Oh, I thought you were a Slav, a Ukrainian one at that. I bet you even fake having EES." Game, set, and fucking match right there. Karen knew I took pride in my heritage and constantly teased her about her weak Anglo blood. She knew there was no way I could use Asian as an excuse after she brought the superiority of the Ukrainian genetics into question. I ground my knuckles into my eyes in frustration, knowing I'd lost. "Okay, you win. Let's have another." Karen looked like Mike Tyson just after he'd bitten a piece of Evander Holyfield's ear off. "Fuck yes!" she cried victoriously before planting a kiss on my mouth. "Who knows, my lord? This one could be a boy." I hope so. Someone needs to keep the trick name going. I'd resigned myself to contracting the disease that is parenthood for a third time. I won't be going to any antenatal classes though. Sometimes it's the little victories that help me get through the shit show of life. 10 or so months later, we were back in hospital, although this time it was just Karen and myself. Also, as fate would have it, I would finally be welcoming an heir into the world. My unholy master had gifted me a son. Like his sister before him, Boris refused to leave the womb of his own accord, and once again Karen had to be induced. Unlike last time, however, the medical staff were competent and the procedure was performed flawlessly. While Karen's pain tolerance was impressive during Mugwump's expulsion, She took it to the next level this time round. She made it quite clear that Boris's delivery would be drug-free. If she pulled this off, my wife's name would be etched into the annals of history as one hard bitch. I had intended to film the sequel to The Violation of Karen. Unfortunately, the main star was less than enthusiastic in reprising her role. As we were preparing to go to hospital, she saw me putting a video cam into the inner pocket of my jacket. "My lord," Karen began. "What's up, my delicious meatball of love?" came my response. I have a repertoire of pet names I can draw on as well. "What did you put in your pocket?" "This." I took the camera out and showed her. It was like I poured an esky full of ice water into an industrial deep fryer. "You're fucking joking, aren't you?" Karen started. The connection to the infernal regions all pregnant women have was manifesting once again as a heat haze started to form above my wife's head. "What? Don't you want to record the birth?" I asked.
"Mate, are you for real? After what happened last time? No way, no fucking camera."
"You can't be serious. What about your fans?" The paint on the ceiling above Karen's head started to blister from the heat she was giving off. When she screamed, it was as if all the demons of hell had given voice to her rage.
"No fucking camera! Understand?"
"No, whatever, you can't kill art, baby." This was not what she wanted to hear. The incoherent roar of 1,000 damn souls exploded from Karen's throat. She reached her left hand towards me and then swiftly raised it heavenwards. I suddenly found myself pinned to the ceiling of our bedroom, the force of the impact smashing the air from my lungs and knocking the camera from my grasp. Her right hand formed a fist, and the video cam exploded mid-air like a grenade, plastic casing and electronics flying everywhere.
"You bitch!"
I gasped as I tried to fill my starving lungs with oxygen. A brief pause as Karen mockingly took a deep breath. "Fucking Drawing on my extensive knowledge of the occult, I grimaced against the pain and forced words of command from my lips. "The power of Christ compels you!" There was a sound like a thunderclap. And Karen buckled to her knees as I hit the floor with a thud. The forces of darkness had been banished for now. I stood, dusted myself off and helped her to her feet. "Holy crap, babe, that was metal as fuck," I exclaimed joyfully, adrenaline coursing through my system. "Shit you, babe, that was awesome." Karen had the glint in her eye of someone that had tasted the power of a god and wanted more. "Look, no filming, okay?" I spread my arms wide, indicating the scattered pieces of the obliterated camera. "Not like I have much choice now, is there?" I laughed as I held my devil woman in a passionate embrace. "Watch it, my lord! You'll squeeze the little bastard out," she grunted. "Sorry, babe. You know how demonic possession gets me all excited." And that is why I never filmed the expulsion of Boris. True story, I swear. It is also why there is no proof of Karen enduring the agony of childbirth without the aid of modern pain relief. Boris's entry into the world was truly medieval. While the lack of a sequel to my first masterpiece is a tragedy for the motion picture world, not needing to film allowed me to devote all my attention to my wife. If she was going to go all in with this V.E.D, it was only right I stepped up and helped her in any way that I could. Whatever she asked for, I provided. Water, ice chips, back rubs, virgin sacrifice, it did not matter. If Karen demanded it, I made sure she got it. True to her word, my wife endured everything that Boris threw her away. Sure, she screamed and wailed, joining the cacophony of pain emanating from the other mothers bringing their own spawn into the world, but not once did she ask for anything to ease her suffering. Karen had gone full beast mode. She brushed off the agonies inflicted by our son like they were merely inconveniences and not the tissue-tearing violence they had become. Like a brute from the dawn of time, Karen grunted and pushed, forcing Boris from a distended belly and into the cold light of day. I don't know if her birth canal had become looser as a result of giving birth to Mugwump all those years ago, but the boy was being expelled in record time. From the moment Karen's contractions began to the instant Boris's crown appeared between her thighs, no more than an hour had passed. While the ordeal was nearly over, my wife was exhausted. Now she'll tell you it was 3 hours, but she was that fucked up on pain, she don't know what was going on. So 1 hour. I can't push anymore, I'm done, she cried. Come on, Karen, I can see the head. One more push and it's all over, instructed the midwife, who had somehow appeared betwixt my wife's legs. I can't do it! As I wiped my love's face with a damp cloth, my mind raced as I tried to think how I could give her the impetus for that one last push. And it came to me. As I put my lips to her ear, I whispered, I bet Screech could do it. Now, for those of you that don't know, Screech is my ex-wife and mother of my first child.
Fuck you, my lord!
Karen bellowed, and with the last of her energy, she forced Boris from her ravaged glory hole. Great work, babe, you did it, I congratulated her as I gently squeezed her hand. After my previous comment, I was not going in for a kiss. The pride I felt for my wife was immense. While there was little doubt that the demonic possession she had experienced earlier had amplified her stamina significantly, I could not take anything away from Karen's sheer determination. She saw this natural, drug-free delivery through to the end. Words could not describe the admiration I had for her. She was a goddess in my eyes. These feelings obviously diminished swiftly over time, as the realities of having to raise another shit machine brought a certain level of resentment. I kid, I idolised that bitch. After cutting the cord that attached him to his mother, I examined the wrinkled meat sack that was my howling son. His likeness to a scrotum was uncanny, and I could only hope this unsightly appearance would diminish over time. Unlike his older sister, Boris was not born with a thick mop of hair and was also bereft of horns. He was also wailing like a banshee, where Mugwump was much more stoic when she came into the world. Boris was, and still is, nearly the opposite of my younger daughter in both appearance and demeanour. Perhaps he's the yin to her yang, the calm to her storm, the good to her evil. My boy would grow into one of the most compassionate kids I've ever known. Of all my children, he's the one least most likely to kill me in my sleep. Every family has its black sheep, I suppose, and Boris is most definitely ours. As unlike the rest of my brood, myself included, he is a truly good person. While his happy, selfless nature has made him the apple of his mother's eye, I secretly hope he's just going through a phase and outgrows all this niceness once he hits puberty. 3 stars. Being my third child, the whole experience was a bit ho-hum, to be honest. At least it was over in about an hour. Like I said, Karen would argue that it was more like 3, but I'm pretty sure she was delirious from the pain and had a limited grasp on reality, let alone time. That's it, guys. Thank you. Enjoy.